Welcome back to Retail Therapy on the Sunday Scaries podcast feed. My name is Will DeFries, my loyal co-host, Barrett Dudley, right next to me. Barrett, how's it going today?
Oh man, it's going all right. I just popped into the stew and was excited to see that we had mind melded on the wardrobe choice today.
Yes, we did.
It's
We both came in with similar vibes today, and I'm a big fan of it actually.
Yeah, it's Grateful Dead tie-dye day.
hmm
You've got a new John here that you're gonna have to tell me a little bit about. And I'm wearing a Howler Brothers tie-dye t-shirt that is from a collection inspired by the Grateful Dead. You know, we call it Skulls and Begonias. We've done it 2 times, and it's one of my favorite tees. So we're on that same wavelength today.
It's almost like the vibe shifted when I was getting dressed this morning.
Yeah, it must have.
It's just crazy how that happens. Yeah, I'm excited to get my shirt, which is a brand new tie-dyed shirt, to the level of your shirt, which is a little more faded, a little more natural looking.
Mhm.
But you have to get the first wear out somewhere, and I thought I'd introduce this shirt to the world on Retail Therapy.
I think that's a smart choice. Now tell me a little bit about where this was purchased. I know you went to a Dead & Co show in Los Angeles, but was this from like bootlegger outside the stadium, or was this from the merch tent?
So I do have bad news. A lot of people who reached out to me regarding the concert said that I needed to go to Shakedown Street, which is usually set up in an area of the parking lot where they have a lot of vendors that are selling their products, things like that. Unfortunately, due to our schedule, we did not end up making it there.
Okay.
We probably could have made it happen, but just based on how things were going and there were some lines forming, we really decided that it was best to just get inside. And so we actually went straight to the little merch area. When we went right inside, there was no line or anything. And the stuff that they had inside was actually incredible. And so we didn't really feel too bad about ourselves.
Yeah.
I got a much more standard, tee from the summer tour, and I'm happy with it. It's going to withstand the test of time, I think. Whereas Sally went much more focused on the actual concert itself. They had a lot of custom merch that was made just for Dodger Stadium.
Oh, okay, cool.
One of the things that they had done was that they created a shirt that essentially looks like a skeleton version of Clayton Kershaw, mid windup on the mound.
Okay.
And she purchased that shirt, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, that sounds kind of tight.
And then the only other thing that I got from the concert itself was I got a nice little pin that says Summer 22, and it had some roller skates on it, as well as the LA Dodgers, essentially the LA Dodgers logo.
Did this convert you? Were you like 75% of the way from just being like a total deadhead, and the concert experience like put you at 100?
I mean,
or did you go in at 100 and just like cemented it?
I think I was going in a way that was closer to 100, but not willing to admit it. And going to the actual concert, I'll say this. I have not been listening to anything on Spotify for the last week and a half, because I've mainly just been listening to noted other subscription music service, nugs.net, that uploads live concerts. And so I'm worried that my Spotify Wrapped this year is going to be very front heavy with a lot of Taylor Swift from January. Yeah. But overall, it was a very good time. And I went in with a white tee instead of going with like the classic tie-dye for the show. And I kind of considered that to be like, you know what? Take me away. I'm in my white t-shirt, tie-dye me.
Yeah, you're right.
I wanted the people to tie-dye me.
Baptism by tie-dye.
Exactly. And so now at the next show, I'll be able to wear tie-dye and feel good about it. But I figured going in with a blank slate was a good move for the first one.
So you're full jam banding if you are on nugs.net, which is something I've never heard of in my entire life, just like streaming live concerts.
And weirdly, who would have thought that this would have happened? It doesn't mesh well with the Apple AirPlay in my car.
Yeah, that's shocking.
It's weird how the nugs.net app does not work seamlessly with the car. It works, but not seamlessly.
I want to say that it probably works best with one of those, like, you remember the things that were like tape players, but it was a tape, but it had a wire coming out of it, and you could pop the tape deck. You could pop the tape into the tape deck, and the wire would come out, and you'd plug that into like an MP3 player or a phone or something.
I used that in my last vehicle. Like, I have since upgraded cars. I now drive a leased vehicle, which is new and has Bluetooth technology.
Right.
But my last car, I can confirm I was using the tape deck with the cord that came out. And honestly, it's the most flawless way to listen to music.
That's the preferred listening device of nugs.net, I believe.
Well, something that's actually very on brand for Retail Therapy is have you seen Wired It Girls on Instagram?
I can't say that I have.
It's
No.
just photos of what you would call an it girl, you know, the classic celebrities who you could consider to be it girls,
Yeah.
wearing wired Apple headphones instead of using AirPods, and they're just saying that, you know, it's cool to do the throwback vintage wired headphones.
Is this okay? Now, but question: are these just photos that predate AirPods, or are these modern like these are new photos where people are purposely skipping the AirPods?
I would say that it is a healthy mix of both.
Okay.
If there's a photo of someone new who is, you know, wearing wired headphones, they will post that photo. It was recent that there was a photo posted recently of Justin Bieber who was sitting on, I think, a conference call or something in a restaurant, and he was sitting there. I think it might have been at Nobu in LA or something, and he ended up having wired headphones in, and it was like, this is perfect. This is great for them. Yeah, be careful with your scrolling, Barrett. There's some inappropriate stuff happening.
This is a spicier account than I realized. But do you know what I'm a little worried? I like this. I've already
liked that photo, by the way, as you can see in the corner.
But there's some subtext here that I'm a little bit worried about. Have you come across the conspiracy theory that AirPods are like 10x above like the normal amount of like Blu-ray radio waves?
Oh, I believe it.
And that they're apparently just like frying everybody's like, you know, lymphatic and nervous systems?
I would 100% believe that.
There's somebody that I follow on Instagram posted a reel that was like, AirPods are killing all of us. You shouldn't be using AirPods. And then of course you Google this, you start going down one of two wormholes, the one where it's like, this is a crock of shit, or the one that's like, yep, could be pretty bad. Not sure why everybody is still wearing their AirPods. So, you know.
What I know is that
I feel like that's what's happening. Is I feel like some of these celebrities who have been known to, like, you know, buy into some conspiracy theories here and there.
Do you think like one of the first like you're reading the bylaws of the Illuminati and it's like, by the way, get rid of your AirPods. These are frying your brain and we need to stick around.
Yeah. It's definitely possible. So.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I also think that like it doesn't really matter if you worry about that kind of stuff either way, because it's only getting worse. Like,
right.
It's not going to get better.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we, you know, for our entire lives, we're going to have a giant, you know, radiating device in our pockets. So, and by our heads and like next to our beds and all of that, and it's like, you know, so how much worse are the AirPods?
Well,
how much worse can they really be?
For how long I've carried a phone in my pocket, I had severe concerns that I would have trouble, you know, having a child.
Sure. Yeah.
I was 1 for 1. So like my concerns completely went out the window. Like I thought that was a legitimate concern of mine. I was like, dude, I've had this phone in my pocket for the last 15 years plus.
I understand the fear. Sure.
I'm more worried about like how the BlackBerry treated me back in the day and stuff like that before they really honed in.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a loaded episode today, Barrett. Sorry to anybody out there who's looking forward to a normal Sunday Scaries episode this week. If you're listening to this right now, I'm probably on a flight home from Washington, D.C., and the way that the schedule is panning out, I thought, you know what? I'm going to take the week off of doing a Scaries episode. It's kind of like a summer Friday of the Sunday Scaries podcast feed right now. So we're just doing a retail therapy. If you have any questions for us, as always, send us any topics, questions, anything you may have to either of our personal accounts, at Barrett Dudley, at Will DeFries, or you can send it into Sunday Scaries and I'll take a look. You can also check out the listener companions that I put up. We talk about a lot of links, a lot of articles on there. I like to put everything in one place for everybody. If you go over and go to willdefries.substack.com, I put everything right there. And you can also watch these episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/washedmedia. But before we get into our first segment here, let's talk about a sponsor that I've been very fond of as of late, especially given the fact that I've traveled out of the country over the last couple months and have had stuff that I've wanted to watch. Or conversely, I'm living in the country right now and I'm trying to watch stuff from the UK. I'm talking about Love Island, which we talked about heavily last episode. Of course, I'm talking about our friends over at NordVPN. Don't miss your favorite content from home when traveling abroad, or don't miss your favorite Love Island episodes before they drop on Hulu. It takes just a click. You open up the map, you click on a location, and you'll be connected in seconds. It's that easy, and you can watch anything from anywhere. If a platform's not even available in your country, all you have to do is simply change your virtual location. No more bandwidth throttling based on traffic type, since NordVPN encrypts all traffic. Your internet service provider can't slow down your streaming speed. Trust me, it is phenomenal and it works great. Grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com nordvpn.com/scaries and use code scaries to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan and free threat protection plus 1 additional month for free. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan and free threat protection plus 1 additional month for free by going to nordvpn.com/scaries with code scaries. It's time, Barrett. This has been killing me. There's a lot of times when we will record an episode and, we don't record too often. We're twice a month.
Sure.
And I see something right after we record and it just kills me that we couldn't have just rewound a little bit and just talked about it. Of course, I'm talking about caviar bumps. Bumps of caviar. Before this episode, you were actually watching a video that I could hear, and I've not seen this video unless I just completely missed it on the article that I've attached.
Well, I like to when the Times posts some of these articles about the latest trends, they drop some links and they also interview some people. And I feel like the people that they get, to quotes from and to kind of help them elaborate on whatever topic they're covering, they're worth exploring in and of themselves because they say some things. And I mean, really, this article really, maybe more than any other one that we've covered before, kind of makes me want to punch myself in the face
a little bit, a little bit.
So I had to see what Kristen Shirley, 37, the founder of La Patiala, a luxury lifestyle website, I had to see what her blog, what her site was all about. And so, as she was mentioned, and her site was linked in this New York Times article, she's taking full advantage. The top of her, the hero on her site right now is how to do a caviar bump.
There you go.
And
just teaching the people.
That's the video that I was watching where she, illuminates the plebes out here on how exactly to go about doing this.
And how does she describe doing a caviar bump?
Well, first, let me just tell you, you need a mother of pearl spoon.
Okay.
Do not open up your kitchen drawer and get out some dinky metal silver teaspoon. I swear to God, if you do that, we're throwing you off the ship. You need a mother of pearl caviar spoon. So just go online and get one of those before you even attempt this. Because that was made very clear that it needs to be a mother of pearl spoon.
Yes, you can go to Williams Sonoma right now and you can get a set of 4. You can get one for yourself, have a backup, and then have 2 for the squad.
Right.
You can get those for about $30 right now, plus shipping and handling.
Okay, so there you go. There you go. You're gonna spoon the caviar onto your hand in between your index and thumb finger,
where one does.
And your skin will gently warm the fish eggs.
Okay.
That's right. And then you lick it like you would salt from a shot of tequila or a margarita, and you smash the eggs on the roof of your mouth to really acquire the full flavor profile.
So you're not actually snorting this.
You are not snorting caviar when we talk about caviar bumps, but yes.
Well, it says when Miss Shirley entertains her friends at her apartment in Soho, they drink champagne and do caviar bumps around the kitchen island.
As one does, Will. As one does. When you entertain your friends in your apartment in Soho, you drink champagne and you do caviar bumps.
Duh. That's just what you do. It says as a self-proclaimed caviar connoisseur, she prefers the taste that way too. If you put caviar on blinis or chips, or put chives or red onion on it, it masks the flavor. Why are you eating something that costs $200 an ounce for it just to taste like a red onion? I want to hate on this take, but I actually agree with this take, not in terms of caviar, because I'm not a caviar connoisseur myself. I don't go to parties at kitchen islands where people are just doing caviar bumps.
Yeah.
I actually have this mentality when it comes to another creature of the sea, and I'm talking about lobster.
Oh, okay.
When I see people eating, I think lobster is best enjoyed fresh, maybe with some butter. Definitely with some butter. That's when it kills me when I see people spending I'm not going to add the specific restaurant in Austin, but there might be some restaurants out there that serve seafood that might have a $42 lobster roll there.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay that much money to have something completely bastardized by mayonnaise and chives and other stuff when the good stuff is the meat itself. So maybe she has a point here when it comes to the caviar bumps that she is doing.
Another thing that's a lot like this is similar in vein is oysters.
Yeah.
When you eat oysters on the half shell, the kind of the beginner way is on a cracker. And you load it up with the cocktail sauce and horseradish and mignonette and lemon and all that, and it kind of it makes it you lose the kind of the idiosyncrasies and the unique flavor if you're really like spending a lot on oysters. And, if you're just doing like Gulf oysters at Joe Schmo's like fish boat or whatever, like totally fine. But if you're spending $5 an oyster and you're experimenting with different regions and California ones and Maine ones and yada yada, it's like you want to taste a little bit more. You should just do it straight out of the shell. So similar thing there is
can you Barrett tell the difference between oysters and where they're from? I've never had a palate that allows me to decipher these things, and so I've always just kind of been jealous of people who can actually taste the difference.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that like, no, I don't want to gas myself up and say that I could do something that like.
I'm not asking you to like. I'm not saying I'm going to do a blind taste test, but yeah, I mean it stresses me out when people are like, well, I like.
It's more like I know what I like. Like I like smaller ones with more that are like brinier in flavor.
Okay,
but I can't be like, oh yeah, those you typically come from Delaware instead of Oregon.
I always just say like, oh yeah, I like the ones from Prince Edward Island, just because it sounds classy, even though it's like probably not. It's just probably another fishing town that like people just go, get oysters from.
Jimmy Hahn here also interviewed in this article.
You have to interview Jimmy when you're talking caviar.
You got to talk to Jimmy. He says he was at Coachella, little restaurant pop up doing his caviar bumps. And he said, people used to get high off drugs. Now we're getting high off food. God damn it.
We're not, though. We're not. I mean, unless you're actually eating edibles, I don't think we're getting high off of caviar.
Yeah.
It's just, you're just not. I mean, this even says that in the NoHo neighborhood of Manhattan, they have a place called Temple Bar has added caviar bumps to its menu when reopened last October. It's, quote, decadence on decadence, but not unapproachable, said our boy Sam. It's a high-low thing you see at restaurants right now. Overall, I'm fine with this if people want to do it, but you have to acknowledge that if you're doing this, you're only doing it because you're trying to show people that you're doing something a little provocative with something luxurious. I'm never going to shame anybody if they're on their Instagram story putting up, Night Lux photos of them doing caviar bumps. If anything, I'm going to be like, that looks awesome. You guys are having a lot of fun. I want to do that. But I also know that if I walked into a party and people are doing this, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely walking into a group of people that I can really identify what they're all about very quickly.
Yes. And I'm with you. Like it's really, we sit here and we talk about a lot of kind of bougie bullshit trends that people can eye roll at. It's really like this article more than any others. And I think it really boils down to all the quotes they got from the people they interviewed.
Yeah.
But like, there are just so many phrases and sentences in here that make this seem like such an affectation instead of like an actual thing. Like, hey, martinis are hot. You know what I mean?
Like we know martinis are good, and it doesn't really matter. Like that's just a throwaway column for the New York Times at this point, just saying like, this is the drink of the summer. Like that's just a throwaway for them. But we've got Josh Bloom, a private chef in Miami who regularly hosts dinner parties for celebrities. And he said that caviar bumps offer a fun way to break the ice. Quote, at Formula One this year, I gave one to Diplo. Like that is not a real quote.
At Formula One. And I got to go back to our girl, Kristen, here too, because the quote that introduces her is this one. A watch collector came up to me yesterday at Freeze and said she saw a video of me doing one on Instagram and she wanted to try. A watch collector? You couldn't have just been like an acquaintance, a friend? No, a watch collector.
No, he collects watches.
The place that this sounded best, the place where they describe where this sounded coolest to me, is at a spot called Tokyo Record Bar, which is a 12-seat izakaya. So it's like a little Japanese bar /
kind
hangout.
Of an Otoko style place a little bit.
Probably, yeah, but probably not as like as more like Water Trade, the little bar like. We got to go to Water Trade sometime. That's in front of Otoko. But it's not on the menu, and you get a caviar bump and sake for $20. So it's a little bit. You get the drink aspect of it too, and
I like
it's a
that.
little. That sounded kind of cool.
I like that. Would you rather do a pill and Ibiza with just to show Avicii that you're cool, or would you rather do a caviar bump at Formula One with Diplo?
I'd rather do a pill and Ibiza.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I think that'd be more fun.
But this also, it all sounds very New York. I'm not sure if this has made its way down to old Austin, Texas yet, but I'm sure McGuire Mormon will splash it on a menu within the next 3 months.
Yeah, they'll have a caviar bar coming soon.
Yeah. at Clark's or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
it'll be called something. Like, there's probably gonna be a row pun somewhere in there. Who knows? I don't know. And I'll probably go there, and I'll probably spend way too much money on doing caviar bumps with the boys. So I was gonna be like, Will, you're doing way too many caviar bumps these days. You're obsessed.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I kind of am. Sorry. Do you have any closing thoughts on caviar bumps, or have we exhausted this?
I think we've exhausted.
Okay.
I just hope that none of these people end up in rehab.
I mean, that'd be tough. Yeah, what are you in for? Oh man, I'm addicted to $200 now. It's caviar. It's been really tough.
Yeah.
Um, I saw something on Instagram yesterday. It is a collaboration that I don't know how to feel about it. It just seems a little ridiculous to me. But it is a Dior collaboration with, I don't even know who they're doing it with, but they have officially made a Dior Gardening Kit.
This came across my feed as well, and I actually meant to. I saw it in the first. You're the first person I thought of. I was like, oh, I got to send this to Will.
It wasn't even like there was no lapse in time between when I saw the post and when I went on my phone in the Docs app and immediately just put it in the app. I was like, yeah, this just needs to be there at this point. The kit was designed by Mr. Kim Jones as an ode to Christian Dior's love of flowers and gardens. It's a foldable seat that features a nod to Dior's classic saddlebag and is also included along with a hand rake and spade, both of which come from Palladium hardware. That doesn't mean anything to me.
It's not normally.
The set retails for a casual $9,300 and can be purchased in store by requesting it using the online form. So you have to go online, you have to fill out your form for your, $9,300 Dior Gardening Kit, and then you roll into the store, and I guess you can actually just get one. So you don't need to buy a bunch of other gardening kits that you didn't love before you work your way up to this one.
Okay, wait. Say that again. How do you acquire one of these?
You download their online form, which I think we should fill out.
Yeah.
Just because, and then you get approved, and then you can go pick yours up in the store. So I assume that they ship it from somewhere to the store, and then you just get to go enjoy it.
All right. So here's a question for you on this. Is this art? Or is anybody actually using this for gardening?
Here's the issue that I have. Here's the question that I have for your question. Where do you display this if it is art?
Yeah,
like you can't put it outside because it'll be in the sun. And you don't want to put your
a sunroom.
Maybe
like if you have like a covered, like a enclosed patio type situation. Maybe.
Do you have a green thumb?
No, absolutely not.
I also have I have the opposite of a green thumb. I can't keep plants alive. I've been a little better as of late because I've been putting a little more effort into it. But I just think about my dad seeing this. My dad loves gardening. He loves spending his summers in the garden. He's very good at it. I've always thought that he probably could have made a very long, good career doing it. But I just think of him, seeing this and I just imagine him just absolutely hating everything about it.
Well, they even went with white leather. Maybe there's some other color options, but white just seems like a poor choice for something that you're gonna like sweat and get soil all over and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, if they get you like if I get like a green or tan version, then I think I might actually have to fill out that online form.
Then you're starting to kind of like buy in a little bit. Yeah.
I think we've taken collaborations too far, and I maybe we should have seen this coming. I'm going to reference a brand that we reference every episode. We have our quota that we have to hit.
Yeah, we got.
I think it was last summer, maybe. No, it was a while ago that they did this. I don't remember when, but ALD released their gardening stuff with New Balance, which was something that I did not see happening. And they released they even released their gardening gloves, which absolutely nobody on planet Earth needs New Balance ALD gardening gloves.
Yeah. I mean, you might need them.
I just feel like you're getting the same gardening glove. You just go to the hardware store,
to the local nursery. Yeah, and they were the exact same gloves that you can pick up at your local nursery, just with a screen print on them.
Part of me is upset that they even did that because that seems like something I feel like Sunday Scaries or Retail Therapy we could put our name on and we could sell something like that because people would be like, that's ridiculous. But I kind of get it because we talk about random shit on here.
Yeah. Did you happen to see Dior's collaboration with Birkenstock also dropped?
No, but my fingers cannot Google this fast enough.
Now, these are on a little bit different. Now, I just wanted to bring them up because we're talking Dior as well. But these were pretty legitimately awesome from a style and design standpoint. They were also absurdly expensive and sold out immediately. I think they retailed for around $1,100 or so, and people promptly are trying to flip them for $4,000 and $5,000. But
very cool.
But a pretty sweet use of like the Dior buckles that have become kind of a Kim Jones signature, and then just like the usual Boston silhouette, but like added a strap on the back. So
I hate that these are so sweet.
If you're really living in that Dior world, you obviously are gardening in these Birkenstocks.
You have to.
A lot of I think a lot of gardeners probably have a pair of Birks that they trusty Birks that they swear by.
I would say I think that's a fair assumption. I think they go hand in hand.
That Venn diagram.
Yeah, for sure.
So in a way, Dior is just is continuing their gardening theme here. They're just making sure that you can get all your entire kit, all of your gear from Dior.
Just imagine spending, the $1,100 on the Dior Birkenstocks, your classic $10,000 on the gardening set, and just being like, all right, let's go get our hands dirty. Let's plant some bulbs for next spring. Like I don't understand why we need to do this, and I don't enjoy how much I'm enjoying the photos of these Birkenstocks from Dior though.
Yeah, it's kind of it's unfortunate. I wish they weren't so appealing.
Did I happen to see something the other day from you? Did you recently get some clogs?
I did, yeah. I did. I was going to save that for our wish list updates, but my wish list update became an imminent cop.
Okay.
Yeah.
As it does. Well, I'll hold off on that. As I got very excited when I saw you drop a pic with some clogs in it, because I know that is something that we had previously discussed. So I will give that to you.
Yeah. So
I do think that there's an opportunity for us. I was trying to Google gardening aesthetics earlier, and nothing really came up. And so I was thinking, if we want to try to commandeer that, I don't think we are the people based on how bad we are at gardening or the lack of gardening that we actually do. But I do think that there's an opportunity there for somebody in the garden world to really come up with something that's like Garden Luxe or something.
Yeah. So, you made a good point about the gardening that I just wanted to reiterate quickly. It really is, it's gardening. I think gardening is not easy is the thing.
Yeah.
It really takes a lot of time and effort and like focus and like tending your plants and like figuring out what works. So if you actually, I don't think it's necessarily that's something that's super difficult, but it requires a lot of patience and learning and time and effort, just like becoming good at most hobbies does. And it's something that I want to be like, you plant something, you water it, and that's it. You know what I mean? And then suddenly you have like beautiful flowers and plants in your yard. But that's definitely not the way it goes. It's far more difficult than that.
The New York Times actually had an article recently about how, people are venturing away from lawns and how more people are doing, I don't know what you would call it. Whatever. Like
it's hardscaping or xeriscaping.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's something that I could see myself getting into. Like growing up, I remember in the house that I grew up in for the first, however, 10, 12 years of my life, we had like ivy growing up the side of the house. And I told Sally, like, I need some ivy on the crib once we actually establish, where we live. I like that kind of thing. I just worry that my affinity for flowers isn't there. I'm not a flower guy. I'm not very good at it.
So I'm not sure that there is an aesthetic to describe it, but I did want to pull up. This is actually an article that I've had in my tabs as I am a tab boy, as previously discussed.
If you can people see your screen right now?
Yeah, they can probably on this podcast. And this is just one of my windows. This is one of my windows.
It's so stressful. Like I get worried when people are looking at my screen that they're going to see a tab that I have open. It doesn't even matter for you because you have so many tabs open that you can barely even tell what icon is supposed to be in the corner of the tab.
That's true. You can see like some social media, you can see some Google Docs or Saks Fifth Avenue, and then obviously like I'm searching for Airbnbs somewhere. Everybody's got their Amazon tab open. This is one that I've had open for a really long time. I don't know why I haven't closed this one out even. I think I was making sure that I read this whole thing. But this is from October 2020. It's another New York Times article. It was called Less Posing, More Pruning, Stylish Gardening Clothes Arrive. And it was basically, it was this wave did have like a little bit of a surge towards the beginning of the pandemic.
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
Where, everybody was like baking bread or gardening or like finding those types of hobbies that we could still safely do in that first year. And there was a lot of this, and there are some really cool stores that specialize in this exact thing. I think Cactus Store, I believe they're out of LA. It's one of the ones that did some stuff like the gardening ghee. Here's the gardening ghee, which is like kind of sweet. you know?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It essentially says it's like the gardening version of the martial arts outfit, and like if I'm being honest, I kind of want one of these just to hang out in.
Right. And I'm scrolling through their stuff right now, and they're merched out, baby. How about
So
these orange zip off gardening like Carhartt style trousers, man?
I think are we about to see a world where zip offs are back?
I think that is yes. Yes. Short
I've
answer,
seen
yes.
I've seen one specific person write about this, and I've thought to myself, like, you know what, I could see this making a comeback. Like Gorpcore has already been a thing for so long, but I feel like people are still hesitant to zip off the bottoms of their pants. This is definitely making it come back at some point.
Yeah, I think that as we see like an evolution of all the Gorp stuff, we're no stone will be left unturned. And yeah, we've already seen some zip off stuff. Ame has done one. Outdoor Voices has done a bunch of zip off pants, and so I'm pretty sure it's something that you'll see some Gucci zip offs here before long. Probably
and then we'll start looking for the cheaper ones, and
right,
then suddenly we're just part of the zeitgeist again.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
So. But yeah, I don't know where this falls into aesthetic wise, the gardening thing.
You do a lot of cooking.
Yeah,
I know this. Do you have an apron?
I don't, and I've talked about the need for one. I believe when last year for my birthday, one was given to me for my birthday. It was not to my quite like.
Did it say smooch the chef on
it? No, it wasn't that. It was like, this is of course something that I'm going to be like stupidly specific about.
Like, even,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. I think that might be a good just, motto for the podcast, for retail therapy in general. Stupidly specific, because like, even though I have no business being specific about an apron that I would wear for my really mediocre meals that I make, I do want a good-looking apron that I'm hoping will propel me into being a super chef like Bobby Flay.
Honestly, if it had been like a kitschier, like Kiss the Chef one, I probably would have just kept it as like, my 4th of July apron or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it was, but it was, I was looking for something kind of cool, and I was at a party a few weeks ago, and the host was doing his first ever brisket.
Okay.
So like the whole shebang, he was like up at 2 a.m. to put it on, and then stayed up the whole night tending and like doing the whole thing. And when we arrived, he was wearing like this like kind of beat to shit black heavy canvas apron. And I was like, yeah, I need an apron, because it was just like this guy's for real.
I feel like if I put on an apron in my kitchen before I made something, it would make me feel like I had a higher responsibility to make sure that I'm making the best possible, meal kit that I can make.
Chef Core.
Chef Core is an opportunity.
We could lead the charge on, I think.
Should we delete this part? Maybe we should delete this, because Chef Core that's got a space for us.
I think so.
I'm scared of chefs though, so that might not go well. They can be intimidating people.
They can.
Don't mess around. Before we get to our next segment, let's hear from our friends over at Bruche. Despite the recommendation from dental professionals to do it twice per day, 2 minutes per day, 30% of millennials admit that they only do it once, and this is disgusting. Some even admit to skipping for days at a time when it comes to brushing their teeth. But Bruche is an electric toothbrush that will change the way that you think about brushing your teeth.
Who's not brushing? Who's skipping days of brushing?
You can't skip days, guys.
It's madness.
You can't skip days. With the powerful sonic technology and ultra-dental bristles, the Bruche redefines what it means to have super clean teeth. It's like that feeling when you just leave the dentist, a fresh, whole mouth clean every single day. They even have the Bruche kit. It's got a Bruche electric toothbrush, 3 brush heads, a magnetic charging station, and a sleek travel case. You and I have both gotten some Bruches in the mail, and I have to say, I have a little excitement when I get to go brush my teeth now.
I use my brush, my Bruche brush.
Yes,
I use it twice a day. And I was just on a vacation. I used the travel kit. I even had the charger with me just in case, because you don't want to risk running out of battery.
But that's the thing. It's got a 4-week battery life.
No, I didn't need to charge it, but I was just you gotta be sure.
For me, the worry is when you have it in you have it in the bag, and you don't know if it just accidentally gets turned on, and then suddenly you show up and you got a dead buzzer or whatever.
But nice little, easy to travel with the charging station as well. It's probably actually about time for me to get on and get some replacement heads going.
You got to do that. I mean, this stuff, these things have it all. Sonic technology. They got 42,000 brush strokes per minute. That's 300 brush strokes, which is I'm not even going to do this. I can't even describe it. Sorry.
Lots of brush strokes.
Yes, a lot of brush strokes. 4-week battery life, 6 cleaning modes, which are really easy to switch between, and you can definitely tell the difference between them, whether you're looking for some whitening, you're looking to brush your tongue, or whether you need gentle for your gums. They have it all. I have very specific needs when it comes to brushing my teeth, and so I love it. They even have the 2-minute timer with the quad pacer, so most people only brush 45 seconds. This tells you when you should do it, and they have a subscription plan. Purchase Baruch, and every 6 months they'll ship you a 3-pack of replacement brush heads to your door. And changing your brush head is easy to forget, so they'll remind you with a message. It's only $18 US. Go make it happen. It's pretty good. Just trust me on this. And they even have a 90-day return policy. Get 20% off when you pick your Baruch brush kit and plan when you go to baruch.com/scaries. That's BRUUSH.com/scaries. Again, that's 20% off when you go to baruch.com/scaries. Aaron, I got to talk to you about totes real quick.
Let's tote it up.
I'm actually surprised that it took us this many episodes to just talk totes in general, unless I've just completely forgotten something. But totes are something that you're a tote boy.
Yeah, I am. I'm a tote boy.
I bring my tote literally everywhere with me. That's
my daily carry right now is a tote, is a canvas tote bag.
Do you mind if I ask what tote you're rocking right now?
Yeah, it's shocker here. It's an Aimé Leon Dore tote from the Cafe Leon Dore drop from a year ago or so. And it's a good shape. I like the shape because it's wide. It's not like the standard kind of like you leave a shopping place and they give you the kind of like very narrow one that's like very tall. Like, you need it for work and carrying around a lot of stuff. You need like a wider one that's easy to drop stuff into.
Like perhaps we're talking about like what you would get if you bought some high-end athleisure somewhere in Austin, Texas.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I know exactly what tote you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's got a deeper. It's got a wider bottom. The whole thing is wider, and it's just like a burlier canvas that can kind of take a beating.
I feel like we're entering the peak of tote season because, well, as we said, you and I are already tote boys, but when it comes to totes, there's no better time than summer to actually have your tote and just go crazy with it. You can bring it to the beach. You can bring it to the farmer's market. You should be bringing it to the grocery store, even though I forget mine pretty much every time I go. And it kills me when I get out of my car, look at the grocery store and think to myself, yep, I forgot my reusable bag for the 100th time in a row.
Going to use 6 more paper bags today?
Yep, because you got to double bag at Central Market because they're going to... like. I had someone say to me the other day, like, you probably don't need to double bag that. And I was like, well, last time I thought that the thing broke and it fell in the parking lot and I looked like an idiot. So I don't feel like dealing with that.
I was very scared leaving the grocery store the other day because I didn't want to use an extra bag. And so I volunteered to carry the watermelon out myself.
Oh.
And so I had my grocery bag in one hand and the watermelon I was just carrying like a shot put in the other hand. And I had a vision of just dropping the watermelon, just having it, explode on the ground in front of me. And it was pretty nerve-wracking.
I'm not going to expose the person that did this, but last summer, Sally and I were going to the grocery store. We're going to get some stuff that we could use to grill out, do whatever. And we asked somebody, hey, do you guys need anything from the grocery store? We're headed there right now. And usually that's an empty offer for me. Not usually. It's always an empty offer for me. I never want to get something for somebody else at the grocery store. It just sounds annoying. And the person responded and they said, yeah, actually, can you get me a watermelon? And I was like, that is the single most inconvenient thing that you could have asked for. It's like, sure, instead of just having one single bag of hot dogs and buns that I'll walk out with, I will get you a giant ass watermelon that I will probably drop in the parking lot because you're volunteering.
What if I say, can you get me some Russian beluga caviar and 4 mother of pearl spoons?
I will ask for your credit card and I will say that I will Venmo you for the groceries, not the other way around. Oh. Well, I don't know. As long as it fits in the tote bag, it doesn't really matter. But Barrett, you were just on vacation.
Yeah, I was.
Did you bring your tote on vacation?
I did. So I've got, you mentioned a beach bag, and so I have a separate tote that's even larger. That's my beach bag.
I've gotten so particular about my current tote, another ALD purchase, that I refuse to let my tote be used for anything except for me traveling or me working.
Yeah.
And Sally has tried to ask me for it numerous times. She ruined my last nice tote that I bought. Had a nice zipper that you could, close it with. It made it much easier to, throw on a conveyor or whatever, the security at TSA.
Oh, yeah.
When she ruined that one, I said, no, you're never using my nice totes ever again.
Yeah, and there should be, I think, a little bit of separation of church and state here between your beach tote and your work tote, because look, you're never going to get the sand out of the beach tote. Is the thing. There's always going to be some micro granules stuck in there.
It's also just nice to have a separate tote with beach that hey, there's probably a mostly empty spray bottle of SPF 50 in there,
Correct.
but I know that it's there, so no one can yell at me if I don't bring any SPF to the pool.
Yeah, that's right. The easiest go-to if you need something for like pool beach is just the LL Bean boat and tote. If you're just like, I got to have something right now, what is it? I don't want to do a bunch of shopping. It's the boat and tote from LL Bean. The one that we have is kind of like a classic blue and white stripe. It's from a defunct brand called Shipley and Halmos, but I like it because it's very big, it's very deep, and then it's got a little top, like a little separate pouch pocket at the top where you can like drop in lip balm, phone, keys, etc.
Love that.
Near the top, but yeah, you got to have a tote for the beach and the pool.
I'm hesitant about bringing up what I want to bring up right now because I almost feel like this should happen behind the scenes. But the more I think about it, the more I think that we should just do this. There's a new Instagram. It's got 12,500 followers. It's followed by, actually, I'm surprised Sally's not following it. She's the one that sent it to me. It's called Ironic Boat and Tote.
Okay.
It is it's the unintended use of the LL Bean customization tool, and it is the brainchild of Gracie Weiner. And this is just people who have gotten their LL Bean totes, but gotten them embroidered with something that is completely different. So some of the things that people have on here, someone just did STFU. Someone just did in the LL Bean font Prada. There's one that simply says feral.
Feral. It's feral girl summer. We know that.
I'm starting to think that we just need to have one that has a really generic font that just says retail therapy on it.
Yeah.
Because if I saw someone shopping on a Sunday afternoon with an LL Bean tote bag that just simply said retail therapy, I'd be like, that person's about to have themselves a Sunday.
Yeah.
I might have to put this into motion.
Okay.
I've already got some sample totes sitting at the crib that I've gotten sent from a printer. So now I'm like, okay, we might need to make some ironic totes.
This is a great idea.
What's in your tote bag right now?
So you want my work tote or my beach tote?
I want your work tote.
Okay.
I was gonna ask beach tote originally, but now I'm more interested in your everyday carry and your regular tote.
I do have. I'm gonna go to the beach tote too because I got some plugs. Because did some research.
Oh, perfect. I'll take both
while on vacation. In my work tote, obviously laptop, pens, paper, and then the other thing that you'll find in there is pretty much every piece of mail from the last 4.5 months that I've said to myself, I might need this at some point. I jam that in there.
I do the same thing for some reason, but I do it with something that I'll never take out in public, and that is I get 2 newspapers to my house a week. I get my hometown newspaper, and I get the Sunday New York Times, and I do that mainly for the Times Magazine. I always throw the newspaper in my tote as if I'm going to be at a cafe and just whip out my newspaper. I've recycled 100% of the ones that go into my tote. I might as well just recycle them right away.
Do you get to read a little bit from either of them?
I mean, I read them.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I will read them, but the time that I spend reading them is usually at the counter. After I get them in the mail, I will just lay it out on the counter, breeze through the stuff, and do it.
Not at like a perfect little cafe with like an espresso and your sunglasses and a doctored Instagram photo.
Don't get me wrong. When we were on the plane home from the Dead & Company concert, there was a guy next to me across the aisle, and he was reading a newspaper for the entirety of the flight. I was kind of jealous of him, and I admired him because I was like, this guy's great. He didn't have to worry about downloading any stuff to his iPad to watch. Sure. He doesn't need to worry about having, downloaded a Spotify playlist. But at the same time, I was like, dude, the person next to you is like just getting hit with newspaper this entire time. They're going to kill you.
It's they're kind of bulky.
Yeah.
Unwieldy.
I like a nod to the past of reading newspapers, but at the same time, I don't like, if that guy had been 22 doing that, I would have been like, that person sucks.
Yeah.
They're doing caviar bumps in Soho.
There's also like, in a very close-up snapshot, that sounds cool, but then you start to zoom out and you get to like the Southwest, snack mix like crunched up on the floor next to him, and like like baby slobber on the fold-down table, and then I don't know, it's not a it like you say it out loud and it kind of sounds alluring and a little sexy, and then you like actually start thinking about what it's like inside of a domestic flight these days.
Newspapers are
And
huge.
it's like that's gross.
Like newspapers are like 3 feet wide, and you can't sit on a plane like that.
How about the film? You get a little bit of the film on your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're gonna have to go to the bathroom to wash that off.
Yeah.
Before you eat your Southwest snack mix.
I think I'm over the Southwest snack mix at this point. It makes me too thirsty.
Yeah.
And like when you ask
you mean the tiny cup of water full of ice that they give you isn't enough water?
It drives me insane. It's like, dude, you can't serve this snack mix and then serve us this small of a water. Like I'm way too hungry.
The water also inevitably comes about 25 minutes after they delivered the snack mix, and I don't have that type of restraint. I eat the snack mix as soon as you hand it to me. I'm just sitting there for 15 minutes, like parched as hell.
Yeah, and then wiping my hand on the dirty seat underneath me. I honestly just need to I need to have wet wipes in my tote bag that I can just throw on under the seat in front of me.
All right, other things that are always in my work bag: my sunglasses case, and then I've got I've got a Nike Golf quarter zip that's like super lightweight and dry fit, but is like my layer for when air conditioning is blowing 55 degrees somewhere in Austin.
I love that you do that.
Yeah,
you have to do that. You have to have a change of some sort, especially if you have a big tote bag that allows for it. Yeah, I don't really have anything out of the norm in mine. I just kind of throw anything. There's 6 total pockets in mine, which makes it very difficult to find anything. But there's just something about a classic.
This is the Ame one?
Yeah.
You got 6 pockets in there?
Yeah.
Damn.
They're pockets that go along the side, and
That's nice.
There's 3 on each side. And so it's nice until you can't find something, and then you like reach your hand in, you can't find it, but it's because it's really far down.
Yeah.
And then you check the next 5 pockets only to realize that it was in that first pocket that you first checked.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's something nostalgic about totes that I just will never be able to shake. I think it's from like my parents having LL Bean totes. When you go on vacation, that's where totes really get to shine, and that's when you build like those memories as a child.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's always going to be something about me where I always just need a tote in my life.
Yeah. So that's a good segue into like tote collecting, because how do you approach it? Are you kind of like, are you going to use that Ame one until it kind of like is no longer usable and it's just seen its best days and then you'll replace it? Or is it something where you like want several of them? Because one of the things that right now, spring sale season is upon us, and I see a lot of stuff, like this Marnie poly and leather tote, which I think is really cool, right? It's pretty good it's on pretty good discount right now. But like this stuff, it's hard to store.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also it's not like a t-shirt. You're not swapping on and off with ease in the mornings, right? Like I don't want to like pull all my shit out of a bag and put it in another bag for the day. So it's not easy to like switch around. And so I find myself not kind of buying more bags or more totes because they're hard to store. It's not easy to switch. And it's like, it's just kind of more trouble than it's worth.
My answer to that is similar to your answer about how people should approach fast fashion. My approach to this is that I no longer want totes from stores where I buy a t-shirt and they nicely offer a tote. Sure. I think it's a nice service. I think it's great advertising for those companies. But I have you can go to Outdoor Voices and buy the cheapest t-shirt they have. You could buy a pair of socks there and they will put it in one of their canvas totes and they will send you out the door with it.
Right.
I don't know how much of a concern this is in terms of just the general public, probably getting overblown by the New York Times, like the other things that we've talked about today. But the Times wrote an article recently about how, all these tote bags are going to take way longer to decompose than actual paper bags that you just recycle. Yeah. And so the more totes that you amass, you might actually just be increasing your carbon footprint instead of reducing it like you think you are.
That's true. That's a good point.
And so for me, I think I will maybe have some nicer totes that I keep in the rotation. But unless something devastating happens to this tote, I'm riding with it until it just looks unpresentable. And then then it might transition into the beach bag.
The beach bag or the grocery store tote.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And so at this point, I just need to figure out, maybe I just need to find my tote lineup and figure out what kind of moves I need to make with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. So beach bag, here's some things that I wanted to cover because we've talked a lot of spray tan and we've talked a lot of SPF.
Yes.
On this podcast. And so I feel like over the week at the beach, narrowed in on some of the best sunscreen choices. So the best regular sunscreen, Sun Bum. You got to go Sun Bum.
Oh, I've been rocking Sun Bum hard this summer.
Yeah.
Hard.
This is like compared to, your copper tones and your banana boats and all that. This feels like lotion, not greasy sunscreen.
Yes.
Like you're still going to get the sunscreen smell and all that. So much better going on.
I used Sunbum the other day on the golf course, and a big hesitation for me of putting on spray sunscreen at the golf course is just having those slick hands afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
It is far and away better than your banana boats and your copper tones when it comes to actually getting off of your hand. And all I had to do was wipe it on my golf towel, and I was totally fine. And I'm a Sunbum stan.
Yep. And then I know that there is some of this floating around your place, Will, but Super Goop for the face and for your more specific needs.
I have some Super Goop in my tote that is sitting by my desk right now. Sally has some Super Goop that is glittered.
Oh, nice.
She did not tell me it was glittered. And so I went to the pool recently, and she put some stuff on my back, which was glittered. And then once I put it all over my body at the pool, I looked down and was like, why am I glistening right now? And sure enough, I had just like completely covered myself in all their glitter.
Yeah.
I didn't really hate it.
Yeah. You
enjoyed it.
You were shining.
Yeah.
You were like a firework.
Yeah.
But yeah, their face stick came in very handy. Got a lot of use. SPF 50 mineral stuff instead of the avobenzone and all that, which we use on our bodies. And you just, that's what you got to protect the most. Faces.
Get the 50s.
You got to get the face. You got to lock it down. But I did well. I think on past trips, I get burned too quickly. Like I fly too close to the sun, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And then like by days 4 and 5, I'm going like full sun shirt SPF to try to make sure I don't.
But you and I have talked.
Damage my skin.
Is it harder to get burned when you're older?
It's harder to tan when you're older.
Yeah,
me.
it's impossible to tan right now.
So I went heavier on the sunscreen. I did more coats throughout the day, and I feel like I went incrementally slower. But I was able to be in the sun all day, and that was a big win, or all week, excuse me, and that was a big win for me.
Well, can I give you a little something that you should be adding to your tote, especially your beach one?
I'd love to hear it.
I'm talking about Weleda Skin Food from our friends over at Thrive Market. Thrive Market is a sponsor of ours, and it's a website that my wife has been using for an extremely long time, and something that she's gotten me on as well. When they came on board, I was very excited. You can get so much stuff from there. I even just ordered Barrett. I just did your skin a favor.
Thank you.
I ordered you and I some Weleda Skin Food Original Ultra Rich Cream. I did get a little diaper cream for the little man. Sorry. And then I also got us some Skin Food lip butter as well. So we're about to be absolutely popping out there.
I like regular food, but I especially like skin food.
Exactly. I always put this on right after I get out of the sun because I think it adds a little boost to me. But yeah, you can pretty much get anything you want over at Thrive Market. Finding all your grocery items in one place at an affordable price is almost impossible now, but with Thrive Market, you can get everything you need and so much more. With Thrive Market, you can shop everything from healthy pantry essentials and sustainable meat and seafood to non-toxic cleaning and beauty products like I just talked about. And these are all delivered right to your door. And if you find a lower price elsewhere, Thrive Market will match it. Thrive Market carefully vets each and every item so you can trust if they sell it, and it's probably the highest quality available. Finding everything you need is easy on Thrive Market because you can filter by 90 plus values and lifestyles to find what works for you. You can shop by what you eat and what matters most to you. With over 5,000 food, home, and beauty products, finding what you need is easy with Thrive Market. So if you're looking for plant-based, keto, gluten-free, zero waste, anything, Thrive Market has you covered. I was on their site today. I was looking around. You can get everything from like essential oils to chicken breast packs to just vanilla extracts, overnight oats. Essentially, if you're trying to make yourself feel better after a long weekend of eating and drinking, Thrive Market's got everything you need, and it's aesthetically pleasing. It's just a great looking site with great looking products. You're just shopping right now.
Really nice shopping experience.
I can see your eyes just moving.
I'm on the 4th of July barbecue section. You can get some stuff to recover from the weekends, or you can plan yourself a little weekend to recover from.
Yeah, this looks wonderful.
They got everything you need. The burger patties. How about the truff mayonnaise?
Oh, I didn't even know they had truff mayonnaise.
They got the truff, baby.
I was never a truffle person until I tried truff hot sauce for the first time, and now I'm somewhat addicted to truff hot sauce. Their hotter sauce is maybe a little too hot.
So yeah, they literally got all your bases covered.
You love to see it. When you join Thrive Market, you're joining a community of 1 million plus members and sponsoring a family in need. And with their fast and free carbon neutral shipping, you're also bettering the planet. Join Thrive Market today and get $80 in free groceries. That's THRIVE market.com/scaries to get $80 in free groceries. Again, that's thrivemarket.com/scaries. thrivemarket.com/scaries. This is not a full segment, but I was reading, I'm a new subscriber to The Athletic.
Okay.
I did it for Manchester United soccer news. I figured a World Cup year was a really good year to join The Athletic. Why not? And they recently had something that was kind of on a topic that we've talked about. It's not totally Ladcore, but it was interviewing a guy who was, I guess he's on Instagram, and he is a plug for a lot of famous soccer stars. Karim Benzema is one of them. Paul Pogba, I think, was one of them. And the first quote that this guy had in the column was just something that I knew it needed to be a part of retail therapy. I just didn't know how. He said, quote, "If you feel good walking into the game wearing Chanel trainers with the Goyard and Louis Vuitton wash bag, you're going to play better. It's as simple as that, man. If you look good, you feel good, and you're going to play well." And I was like, dude, yes. Have you seen what the soccer players walk in with when they come in?
Well, I mean, based on your description, I understand what you're talking about, because a lot of the NBA guys walk in with those wash bags as well with their doc kits. Basically.
Yeah. So for the longest time, I thought these soccer players were walking in. People would call them boot bags, and so I always assumed that they just put their brand new cleats in there. But I realized after watching some Amazon Prime Now Manchester City stuff, that no, they do not carry their own shoes in. These shoes are stored somewhere. They are taken care of by somebody. they are not touching them. And yeah, they're just walking in with their wash bags.
Yeah.
The Peter Crouch podcast, which is probably my favorite podcast going, they talked about this for a while, and I started thinking about like, oh man, I kind of just want like a really high-end dop kit that I just carry around with me everywhere, like I'm a soccer player. And I don't even know. It's just a smaller tote bag at that point.
Yeah. Probably also unnecessary, because you might imagine, or I guess maybe if you're on the visiting side, you need your own stuff. If you're at home, I'm sure you got all your preferred amenities and grooming products in your locker, right?
You would think that you would keep them in your locker. They did say during the podcast when they were explaining what it was, because the reason they talked about it was because so many people are always thinking that it's cleats.
Okay.
They were saying that a lot of them, like a lot of these training grounds or a lot of these stadiums, they just have terrible products. Like some of them don't even have shampoo for the away teams and stuff. So you have to go in and roll in with your good stuff.
But no, 100%. I am a full believer in the look good, play good philosophy of, so whether it's just like, whether it's pros arriving to the stadium, I've got a thing. I probably have mentioned this before on Club Cool, talking about like gym outfits and gym kits and stuff like that. But like when I go to the gym, I just feel better and feel like I perform better when I've got a Nike check on literally every piece of my body.
See,
shoes, socks, shorts, compression shorts, and shirt. When everything is Nike, I just like the way that feels like, and I know that's insane.
But it kind of makes you feel like you're like a sponsored athlete when you're doing that kind of stuff.
You just look good, feel good, or feel good, play good.
We've got 10,000 as a sponsor on Circling Back, and I was very new to 10,000. I'd been marketed to them on Instagram a lot of times before they came on as a sponsor.
Yeah.
And now that I've worn their stuff, like, I want to be just 10,000 out the entire time. I love it.
Yeah, I feel it.
And you might see me get a Goyard, wash bag that I'm just going to be taking to work every day.
So I believe some listeners can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure the only way to get Goyard is to go to France.
Yeah, my plan was to go to a sketchy part of New York City and buy one in a back room somewhere that was maybe at a very deep discount.
Gotcha.
But I tried to take a look into. We were on South Congress earlier today, just driving through, and I tried to take my first look into the Hermes store.
Yeah,
it just. Anytime the store is closed and they still have I don't even know what you'd call it, like whatever you see in airports at TSA that are separating people, like the
line, the queue.
Yeah,
like the queue,
they still had that. They weren't even open yet. They just had that out. I was like, yeah, I'm never going in that store.
The ropes, the queue ropes.
Like if you have that when you're closed, that means that you have a line no matter what. Like you have a line before you open, and that is something I do not want to be a part of.
It's all for show. I think that if you had popped in there on Tuesday at noon, you could have just gone in.
I think I probably could have gone. Tuesday morning doesn't feel like too big of a time.
Especially because, that Hermes storefront is really just the one for the GP, you know, for the Congress walkers.
Yep.
It's really one back behind that you have to, that's not marked. It's only for exclusive shoppers. You have to spend $1 million lifetime at Hermes. Nobody knows about it. You know, that's the one that you really want to access.
I've only worn something from Hermes one time, and I was scared out of my mind the entire time because I forgot my tie to a wedding. And somebody said, I have one you can borrow. And when he gave it to me, I was like, dude, don't do this. Don't put this responsibility on me. I do not need this nice tie. I will ruin it with probably anything.
Was it, you popped that thing off as soon as the reception
immediately
started?
And I was like, I was like, please put this in your jacket pocket. I cannot be a part of this anymore. Is it time for wish list updates or imminent cops? You already kind of teased yours. I think you should lead off today.
Yeah. Okay. So I did mention here. Let me get these pulled up. Because I'm not sure I put them on this. Oh yeah, we didn't have video last time. So I mentioned the Isabel Marant version of the Birkenstock Boston clog, which you know, I've been wanting a pair of Bostons or something very similar for quite some time. And I had a pair from another brand called Yucatan that just didn't work out for my feet. So these were at the top of my list, and I said that they were on sale, but I just needed like an extra discount on top of them from one of the sites that had them. And literally the next week, there was an extra 25% off Shop Bop.
Yes.
And I pulled trig on the Mervyn sandal from Isabel Marant in this kind of light taupey suede. And I'm stoked on them.
I'm proud of you, Barrett. I'm very happy about this.
So they came into the price point that I was looking for, and they became an imminent cop.
I'll be getting some clogs when the temperature gets beneath 70 degrees regularly.
Yeah. So you know that's the thing about summer in Texas, right? It's like even these, which for most people are like could very well be a spring summer choice, maybe sockless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not here.
I gotta pump the brakes on my need for clogs right now.
Yeah. So that did become my last wish list update did become an imminent cop, and they are sitting at home now. Yeah, and I don't have a ton to add this week. You know, there's always like something floating around in shopping carts. So what I did want to bring up, you know, we've kind of covered both of the things that are related here. We've covered the Grateful Dead on today's podcast, and then we've also covered beach bags and beach totes and what's inside them. So we love a insane James Purse item.
Let's go.
You know, they've got the $5,000 teak chess set from one of our Christmas wish lists. And now they've got some beach towels that I don't think you're going to find a better beach towel than this. Let me.
I'm so excited for you to put this beach towel on the screen.
Where is my link? Jeez. See, this is the problem when you're a tab boy.
Hey, don't even apologize, Barrett.
Get lost in the sauce.
You're so efficient with this stuff that if you have a brief stint where you can't find it, I'm not even going to blame you because you have saved me so many times by just pulling stuff up without even me having to ask.
All right, here we go. Here's my most recent addition to the.
Oh man, why would they do this? Why would they release a $325 Grateful Dead beach towel? like this is everything. This is everything that they would stand against in their heyday.
Yeah.
So did the Grateful Dead stuff just get put in public domain? Is that what happened?
No. But they have I may have already said too much. Let me just say this. They've got a team that their licensing department team is willing to work with basically anybody and actively pursues many deals and collaborations.
Okay. That makes sense then, because the way that I looked at it, you see so many collaborations, and they were so really anti-establishment for a long time that I kind of had the idea in my mind that it had either entered the public domain or they just didn't care to the point where they were just like, you know what? Like anybody can do anything they want with our stuff because we're the Grateful Dead and it doesn't matter.
Well, right. And
everyone's equal.
And it's basically like if you agree to their licensing terms and like the revenue share or whatever the agreement might entail, they're like, yeah, sure. I think there is an approval process. They do need to like double check what you're going to make and make sure that it's like follows brand guidelines and all of that. But
interesting. Okay.
Basically, I'm pretty sure that they don't, as long as you have like a cohesive pitch and tell them what you're going to do and they say okay and you're cool with their terms, they will let you put the Grateful Dead stuff on anything you want.
Like a $325 beach
like a
towel from James
luxury
Purse.
beach towel from James Purse. Yeah.
I'm going to say this. This is a hashtag retail problem. My least favorite thing in the world was when we would get James Purse shipments in. They do not pack their stuff very well. They just throw the stuff into a giant box and then let you sort it out later. And then we would have to inspect everyone and take it out, open the tag, put a tag in it, and then shut it and then put it away again. It was my least favorite thing when I was working inventory to receive James Purse. It was just such a beating.
Well, these towels, I do just want to add, I don't know if I told you this yet, but they are 100% Japanese cotton and they are made in Japan.
They're just like pandering to me at this point. They're like, dude, get this towel.
Like, I just let me paint a picture for you. You're on your way to the beach and your Acqua di Parma fragrance.
I know what you're doing right now. I know what you're doing right now, and I don't appreciate it. We had a segment previously on this podcast where Barrett convinced people to buy something that they didn't necessarily need, and that's what you're doing right now to me, and I don't like it.
You just look over at your seat, and this Japanese cotton beach towel is just poking out of your recently acquired, Marnie beach tote.
I wish Father's Day didn't just happen because this would have been on the list. I actually do have.
This is kind of absurd, but it is.
I'm into it.
It's cool. It's cool.
I do have good news. Something on my wish list has been purchased, and it was purchased in the best way possible with someone else's money. Well, technically, what's mine is hers, but it's not on my credit card statement, so therefore I don't have to think about it. Sally has purchased the wine glasses for me from the Rydell.
Rydell, yeah, there you go.
She purchased those for me from my wish list for Father's Day, and I've been enjoying some First Leaf Wines, another sponsor of this pod, who sent me a very large box of red wine, and I've been very much enjoying them. They are hilariously big. They're much larger than I ever anticipated them being, but I kind of dig it, so I'm just in on those right now. But I have added something this week. Not long ago, I lost my Bluetooth speaker. It was very upsetting. I thought that it was gone forever. In the week that it took me to find my Bluetooth speaker, I went all in on shopping for Bluetooth speakers. And what I found was that I found one that is way out of my price range of what I wanted, but it is so good looking that it's just been taking up real estate in my head, and now I just really need it in my beach tote. I'm talking about a Bang & Olufsen waterproof Bluetooth speaker. This thing is just a little tiny disc. It costs you just a cool $279, but it comes in some very nice colors, which is why I was kind of interested by it. They've got a gray mist that kind of matches all your Apple products.
Okay.
They have a black one that looks like, all your other Apple products. And they also have this green one that is, everyone knows I like a good hunter green, especially with the tan leather strap. But there's something about this speaker that's going to be very difficult to shake before long. So if you guys see me flexing with a brand new Bluetooth speaker anytime soon, this is why. I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
Well, I mean, it's all about context, right? And so I've actually just framed it for you perfectly, because this costs, 18-20% less than the beach towel I just showed you.
That's true. That's true, yeah. And if you think about my cost per use on a Bluetooth speaker,
exactly,
I mean,
right.
if per minute, this is going to go down rapidly.
Much more reasonable, usage of funds, I would say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I've put a hard stop on purchasing any major clothing items for the rest of the summer. I think my wardrobe is shaped up, so unless anything just pops out of nowhere. But I do think that there could be some bandwidth. I almost feel like now I'm going to try to sabotage my current Bluetooth speaker. But I will say that my old Bluetooth speaker may just reside in my golf bag for the rest of time. And I might just need to find a one that I can pop out and, just toss next to my Grateful Dead towel on the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, another one in the books. To everyone out there who was expecting a normal episode, I would apologize, but I think you've gotten just a serious amount of really good content today. So I'm not going to apologize too much. And to everyone out there who's been enjoying retail therapy, thank you guys for following along. We've been having fun doing it. Any closing thoughts today, Barrett?
That covers it for me, man. We got a lot in today. There are a lot of good.
I feel like it's been forever since you and I have gotten together. So I feel like this was a perfect setup for us to get back on the same page. All right, we'll be back. I'll be back next week with a normal episode, and then the week after that, unless Barrett's got any scheduling issues, I think I'm still planning on recording on the 5th of July. We might just have hoarse voices and maybe some sunburned skin.
I hope so.
All right, Barrett. I'll see you later.
Bye-bye.